Okay, let's get started, because you want to hear from these guys, not me, right? So I'm going to do this easily, because each member is going to speak for 10 minutes, so I'm not going to go through their bios all at once. I think it's just easier just to go through the bio one at a time so that I don't waste time. So if anybody doesn't know Casey Barnett, that would be unusual, because Casey is the president of CAMED Business School. Before I read his bio, I'd like to say Casey has done a tremendous amount for education here. If HR managers here, anybody that's hiring people from accounting and finance, CAMED is always the first choice, right? So thank you, Casey, for coming. So quickly, and I'll read this fast, Casey, if you don't mind. Mr. Casey Barnett is the president of CAMED Business School, as well as a professor. He is an expert in IFRS and has trained many professionals from the Big Four and also from Cambodian Investment Management, my company. He's also trained people from the General Department of Taxation, listed companies as well. He is an advisor to the National Accounting Council of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, as well as a member of the Working Group on Accounting, Tax, and Securities Markets for Micro Enterprises and SMEs. Previously, he was with a World Bank consultant in the area of public sector financial reporting. He is a CFA, a fellow member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and holds an MBA from Columbia Business School. Is there anything Casey hasn't done? And Casey, I also like to welcome, he's recently become a platinum member of AmCham's, so we've recruited him to help us out to be a better chamber. So thank you, Casey. Please proceed with your presentation.
And thank you very much, Anthony. It's because of Anthony that we have recently joined AmCham's. So I look forward to supporting Anthony and the board in improving, growing, developing, and supporting all of you who are members of AmCham's. I'm the president of CAMED Business School, and we are known for specializing in teaching accounting and finance. Our graduates comprise more than half of the professional auditors and accountants at the Big Four, EY, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, as well as other well-known international advisory firms such as CIM, Grant Thornton, and BDO. And we are an institute of higher education. In Cambodia, there are actually 83 licensed institutes of higher education and universities. There are 83. But out of 83 universities and institutes of higher education, there are only 10. There are only 10 that are fully accredited by the Accreditation Committee of Cambodia, of the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Sports. And I'm very proud that CAMED is one of those 10. And we are the only institute of higher education in Cambodia with the regional accreditation from the ASEAN University Network. Today I'd like to share a little bit about how we set our curriculum, some of the directions we're moving in. And I would also like to learn from you, ask you a couple questions. My presentation is going to be online using an application called Mentimeter. It might fail halfway through. In that case, I'll just speak. But while we can, let's try to use it. And I'd like to invite you to log in with your phone by going to menti.com and use the code 3390248. Okay, yeah. The password is Baitong Hotel. Just go to www.menti.com and then use this code 3390248. So while you're trying to figure out your Wi-Fi, I'll tell you about myself a little bit. So I was born in Montana, and I grew up there until I was 15 years old, and I moved to Washington State. And from Washington State, I went to study my undergraduate degree at a school called Dartmouth College, which is on the East Coast. And after Dartmouth, I wanted to, and being from rural Montana, I wanted to go to the big city. So I went to New York, and I worked in New York for a couple of years. And after working in New York, I came to Cambodia. And in Cambodia, I did a number of things. As Anthony mentioned, I was a consultant for the World Bank in the area of public financial reporting. I was advising, and I had my office in the National Treasury. And CamEd started really small. We didn't start with a big investment where we started with a purchase of a large property, et cetera. We started very small, and we started by just going to the company and teaching the staff in the company. And usually we would teach in a meeting room. So we didn't even have, in the early days, we didn't even have a school. We just were teaching companies at their premises. And our service became popular, and we grew in the number of clients, became more popular. And so eventually we had enough students that we opened an actual school, and instead of going to the company, we invited the company employees to join us. So that's how we started out. So I see a few of you have joined. Let's go ahead, and I have 2 questions, and whoever can get the 2 questions correct, I have a small gift. It's Chinese New Year, so I have a gift of oranges, which is a traditional gift for Chinese New Year. But let's see how it works. Okay. Okay, we've got a lot of players. Answer fast to get more points. What international qualification is taught by CamEd? ACCA, that's right. The ACCA is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. They are headquartered in the UK. You can think of them as the UK, one of the UK versions of the US CPA. So they are one of the qualifications to be a professional accountant in the UK, and they are recognized globally around the world. So question 2. This is a harder question. What accounting standard or standards must be applied by companies in Cambodia? So some of you who work in accounting, you might have an advantage. But it is a kind of trick question. Okay, so the answers are GAAP or tax accounting, IPSAS, CIFRS or CIFRS for SMEs. The correct answer is CIFRS or CIFRS for SMEs. So you have a choice. So in Cambodia, we don't follow GAAP. We follow CIFRS, which is the same as IFRS. Or you can choose CIFRS for SMEs, which is the same as IFRS for SMEs, which are the international accounting standards. So we might not know who's the winner. Maybe later. Sorry. So it's not loading the results. So like my fellow educators, when we're teaching, we're following the principle of give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. So it's a very simple and pleasant idea, but what is the reality? The reality is there's a lot of people trying to catch the same fish. So in your case, it's your clients, your customers are your fish. In my case, the fish is you. You are my fish for me and my students. Or more accurately, the opportunity for my student to join your accounting or audit team is the fish. So because there is a lot of competition, we need to make sure that we understand your needs, we understand the behavior and needs of the fish, and we need to make sure that we listen to the fish very carefully. Our curriculum development follows a process called, or a philosophy called outcomes-based education. When we design our curriculum, we design it based on the skills that we expect the students to have and be able to apply in the real world. And we identify those skills through talking to you, by listening to you, learning from your experience, learning what needs you have in your organization, also the strengths and weaknesses of your current accounting, audit staff, management staff. And it's a continuous process because your needs don't stay the same. And so for us, we need to make sure that our curriculum evolves as your needs are evolving. And because we have a bachelor in accounting and finance, we have students entering the program who will exit in 4 years' time, we need to make sure that we're also targeting your future needs. So in the spirit of listening to you and understanding you, I have another question. What skills would you like your accountant or finance manager to improve or develop? If you can write in the application on your phone. So those of you who can... Sure, share your opinion. Prediction, okay.
Being able to, financial forecasting, being able to actually tell me what's going to happen rather than tell me what the numbers.
Okay, sure. Prediction, forecasting, and someone obviously agrees with you. Financial management. Would anyone else like to share their opinion? Attention to detail, forecasting. Similar questions have been asked of in a research study conducted by the ACCA. They surveyed 1,152 CFOs, CEOs, and ACCA members around the world. And they found that there are 5 areas that the future CFO needs to develop. Project management, very good. Analysis, consistency, project management. So we see there's a lot of management skills that you expect of your accountant, not just the financial skills. The research of the ACCA agrees with you. They have found similar findings in their research study. So the areas the CFO needs to develop, first of all, stakeholder focus. CFOs and finance managers need to develop more skill in communicating with investors and other stakeholders. Secondly, strategy formulation. The CEO is increasingly involved in setting business strategy. Yes? Sure, good idea. If someone can turn off the line, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. Growth optimization. So not just being no longer being a steward of a fixed amount of assets, but also being responsible for growing those assets. And wide view of performance. So not being responsible just for managing financial capital, but also being responsible for the development of social capital, human capital, intellectual capital. And then finally, forward insight, that the CFO and the finance manager needs to move away from the historical reporting what happened, and needs to focus more on forecasting and forward insights. So their research has supported many of the ideas that you have. I would like to also share with you, so these insights of the ACCA, the ideas that you've given us today, these we are including and considering in the development of our curriculum. I would like to share with you some of the core elements of our curriculum for our Bachelor of Accounting and Finance program. First of all, IFRS. So I'm an American. I love American accounting textbooks and American accounting courses. They're wonderful, but unfortunately, in Cambodia, we don't follow US GAAP. We follow IFRS. So we need to have an IFRS-based curriculum. IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, it's the accounting standard we have to follow. In Cambodia, we have CIFRS, which is 100% the same as IFRS. The Ministry of Economy and Finance has a copyright agreement with the IASB that publishes IFRS. So in Cambodia, they just copied IFRS to become CIFRS. Also, fortunately, the ACCA curriculum, the ACCA teaching materials are based on IFRS. So we include ACCA courses in our program, which also fulfill requirements of IFAC. IFAC is the International Federation of Accountants, which sets international education standards for accountants. And there's a body under IFAC that also sets international standards of auditing. And the ACCA program also covers the education requirements of IFAC as well as the international standards of auditing. But ACCA has its blind spots. For example, IFRS for SMEs. So in Cambodia, perhaps more than 70% of companies want to follow IFRS for SMEs, but the ACCA program doesn't have any material for IFRS for SMEs. So we have developed our own independent diploma in IFRS for SMEs. Similarly, the international programs don't teach Cambodian tax, don't teach Cambodian accounting regulations, don't teach Cambodian business law. And I see a lot of students that graduate from other universities. They graduate, they come back to CamMed from another university to study many of these subjects, to study tax, IFRS for SMEs. So we also have a diploma in Cambodian tax, diploma in Cambodian business law, and these other courses to supplement the ACCA program. There are certain topics that are trending and becoming popular for accounting education programs around the world to consider. And they include data analytics, operations management, statistical analysis, risk management, investment analysis, managing people, and fintech. And I'd like to ask you whether you find which of these you find most important and least important for your company. So if you could take a minute and answer in the application. Well, it's good to know that everything's important. Okay, so we see managing people seems to be in the lead. Managing people seems to be in the lead. Data analytics, second. Investment analysis, at least. And that makes sense because Cambodia has a very immature capital market, so there's not a lot of securities analysis or investment analysis, or the investment analysis might be somewhat simple. That makes sense. Also, there are few businesses involved in making, and a lot of businesses are not involved in making investments, so investment analysis wouldn't apply to all businesses. And data analytics being equally popular in managing people, so that also makes sense because nowadays we're collecting more and more data, so we need to be able to filter it, to interpret it, communicate it, visualize it for making decisions. And lastly, I'll just share something new that is something we've been aggressively doing in the last few months at CamEd. So we're really shifting to getting students to really use their skills in the real world, or not quite real world. So we've developed simulations where we provide the students a set of company data, set of company receipts, accounts, contracts, and we provide a space for them and we give them roles, different roles on the audit team, the client side, and so it's a very complex role play where the students will actually do an audit simulation, a tax simulation. So we're trying to get away from, studying from the book, studying on paper, to get them to apply their skills in a more real-life scenario. Another thing that we're doing is field assignments, and one of the big assignments is all the students in our school, they need to go out, work with an SME to develop a set of accounts for a small business in Cambodia. And together we have work mentoring and work placement. So now we have a work placement where students receive university credit, and we assign them a work mentor to give them advice and be someone independent who can guide them and support them in their first career. And our fourth-year students are provided the work placement and the mentoring. And lastly, we have a business laboratory. We do conduct research, but that's more for our professors and our academic staff. For the students, the business lab is more a place where they can develop business models, business plans, and realize those businesses. And we provide them tax advice, we provide them business strategy advising so they can better develop their ideas. I think I've gone over my 10 minutes. I apologize. Thank you very much.
I'm sure there's tons of questions for Casey, because there always are. But we're going to leave those towards the end, because we're going to have, obviously, an interactive panel discussion. So we're going to let the other speakers have 8 minutes. We have to balance, right? So let me next introduce Ashley Irving. He's the principal at the Australian Centre for Education, which we all know as ACE. He's a board member of AmCham for many years, and he's also the, should we call you the president or the president of AmCham, being that he's Australian. So he's playing both sides here. That's great. Mr. Ashley Irving joined the Australian Centre for Education in June 2012 as a principal. A native Australian from Melbourne, Ashley holds degrees in mathematics, business, and linguistics. So please challenge him on his linguistics, okay? See if he knows Khmer. After a 20-year career in corporate banking, culminating in a position as associate director at Rothschild Bank, Ashley decided to seek a new direction. Since then, he's worked in the English language teaching industry for 18 years, including time in Brazil, Argentina, and Australia. He's a member of the Australian Institute of Company Directors. Since joining ACE, Ashley has seen the number of students increase from 6,000 in 2012 to 18,000 today. Casey, how are you faring there? Reflecting the strong desire amongst Cambodians to keep upgrading their education. Ashley is also part of the Joint Public-Private Committee, which is working with the Cambodian government on STEM education. Ashley, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Oh dear. Good afternoon. How are you? Can I just ask? This is a lunch and learn. How many people came here to learn? Some. So the rest of you have come for lunch. Also for lunch. Okay. Yeah. Look, my name is Ashley Irving. I've been fortunate enough to be a resident here in Cambodia for just over 8 years, and to this day, I can still see why it's called the Kingdom of Wonder. When I started here, allow me a short story. I came here for a conference, CamTESOL, which is currently on this weekend, with the intention of staying for 2 days. During those 2 days, I had the privilege of wandering around, having a look. At the end of the 2 days, I met someone who asked me to apply for a job here. I applied for the job. 1 month later, I was living here full time. 3 weeks later, I received my first promotion. And I've never left. ACE has been here for 23 years. No, sorry, 28 years now. We started in 1993 as part of, during the UNTAC days. We were an Australian government initiative which turned private when UNTAC left. And when I joined in 2012, we had 6,000 students. And Anthony is correct, we have 18,000 students now. And numbers have fallen due to COVID. A year ago, we had 24,000. So we were teaching 24,000 students, primarily under the age of 18, between 8 and 18. So what's been identified here by the Cambodian public is the need for English. And I'll come back to that in a minute. Off the back of that, we run several scholarship programs with the Australian government, New Zealand government, where we train alumni to go and study postgraduate courses in the UK and in Australia and New Zealand. We also run courses for the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces, where we're training senior staff before they go and study in countries like Australia. We're also working with the University of Health Sciences, where we offer a scholarship program for budding medical professionals starting out on their career. And just recently last year, with the support of the Education Minister, we sponsored, I think, roughly 2,000 students who are studying English for Year 12 and helping them get ready for the exams that never happened. We've now reached the stage where we have had 3 generations of Khmer families passing through, grandparents, parents and their children. So we've been part of the furniture here for a very long time. We also run international teacher training courses in conjunction with Cambridge University in training English language teachers. And we now currently have 6 schools, 5 in Phnom Penh and 1 in Siem Reap, with plans to expand further. If you haven't we've just built a school on the way to Tak Mau. If you haven't seen it, I'd encourage you to drive past. It's an impressive facility. So this is what we have at the moment. And as I said, we've grown enormously. Parents in Cambodia have decided that English is important for their children's future. It's aspirational. And we're seeing parents invest heavily over many, many years. When we think, well, if you step back and think about it, English is the language of ASEAN, despite none of the countries having English as a first language. It's the language of the it's the business language of the EU with respect to the French, despite the English no longer being part of the EU. With the incredible penetration of US culture and language around the world, English is, with Chinese, one of the dominant languages. And we've been fortunate enough to be part of a wave of popularity here in Cambodia, which I haven't seen anywhere else in the world. When I ran schools in Australia, we would get very excited when we had, there they are now, when we had 300 to 400 students. When I go back to countries like Australia and England and talk about the volume of students in a small country like Cambodia, people find it very, very difficult to believe. So this is the framework that we operate within. Do I think English is important? Well, what I think doesn't matter. It's what my clients think and what the public is telling me. And we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students. So we change textbooks every few years to make sure that what we're teaching is in line with current practice. We insist on training our teachers assiduously. There are regular training sessions of our staff to make sure that they're teaching it not just effectively, but also learning on an ongoing basis. It's very difficult to resist. It's something we take great pride in. We run conferences such as the CamTESOL conference, which is currently in play, starting today. We couldn't do it face-to-face this year, so we've moved online. And I think we have roughly 500 presenters, 600 over 3 days, presenting online at the moment. When the government told us that we could no longer run face-to-face classes, we moved online in 36 hours, from 0 to 100. So we trained our staff overnight, got the IT set up overnight, and moved online. And like everyone, we made some huge mistakes. But after 1 year, I can safely say in the space, we're now delivering comparable lessons online to what students are experiencing in the classroom, with the obvious limitations of being able to talk to the person next to you. The focus of our English curriculum is on communication, talking. I like to say writing, but some students refuse. But it's about making sure that you can communicate with the person next to you, the person you're talking to online, both written and verbal. Because at the end of the day, a language is used for communication. So learning it in isolation is not terribly effective. And most of our students will probably never speak to a native speaker. They'll be speaking to other second language speakers of English. So it's important that they hear a range of voices, a range of exposure, not just from Khmer and British, but American, Australian, European. We have some Indian teachers. So a whole range of accents that students can be potentially exposed to, which helps improve their ear and understand the different accents you might hear. For example, my accent, you can probably tell is not American. We have a Scottish speaker in the room. That is the one accent in the world I struggle with. So these are the important things. It's about exposure and usage. And people are shy. Speaking English to a stranger can be confronting. But what you start to realise after a little while is, if you have a common language, it's pretty easy to establish a common bond and actually talk about ideas, talk about similarities, and start to build relationships. And that's really what the language allows you to do. It allows you to build relationships with people both personally and professionally. When we look across the region, we're seeing one of the great challenges for ASEAN is labour mobility. Having people who can work across borders. The opportunity's there. It's not happening yet. But with English and the skills that groups such as CamEd are introducing, I'm very sure we're going to be seeing Cambodians working in places like Singapore and Malaysia using English, which has the potential to change not their individual lives, but their families as well. So what English does is addresses the issue of aspiration for students and gives them potential access to opportunities that they wouldn't receive otherwise. So if you intend to stay in Cambodia, then you don't need English. But what it does do is it sets you apart from those who don't have it and creates opportunity. And that's where our focus is, providing support for our students and their families and creating opportunities for the future. Because once you have the skill, you never know where it can take you. I got my job off the back of a 5-minute conversation late on a Saturday night with someone I didn't know. So you never know what can happen. So I'll leave it there. I'm happy to take any questions or any comments that you've got later in the morning, or later in the afternoon now. So thank you very much for your time.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashley. So we're going to move on pretty quick here because I know we're a little bit behind schedule. So the next person up is Sarah Tauch. She's a human resource. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you. So she's a human resource manager for Ostra Fine Foods. So Ostra Fine Foods gives you the best oysters, mussels, lobsters in Cambodia. Thank you for bringing that to Cambodia, which we haven't seen. It's now readily available. So Sarah has a 12-year notable experience in food and beverage and working for large industrial companies in France. In 2015, she came back to Cambodia to share her skills and experience to business owners. with the attention of nurturing young Cambodian entrepreneurs. With her intensive and well-rounded experience, she contributed in human resource management, professional development, standardizing business flows that ultimately influenced the growth of medium, large-scale hotels and restaurants. Currently, she's the HR manager for one of the largest and biggest food suppliers in Cambodia, being Ostra Fine Foods. Sarah, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous because it's the first time for me, and I'm here. As like you, I'm here to share for my experience. I'm here too to learn from you too. So I have a small presentation for you today. So please. Sorry, we lost a little bit the presentation. So I'm here to share with you, all of you, who we are and how I make employee happy. So I'm a HR manager at Ostra. For 12 years, notable experience in food and beverage. In 2015, went back to Cambodia to share my skill and my experience. Intensive and very town overseas experience. Who we are? Ostra Fine Food is a leader in the importation premium seafood supply in Phnom Penh and Cambodia. I hope everyone know Ostra, right? So ever expanding arranged for fresh and packaging products. Founded by an Australian chef, Mr. Tim. Everyone know Mr. Tim? Okay. So it's fresh from the source to the customer. We have also our retail outlets. Right now we have our Oyster Bar. First we have Soteros Boulevard. And the second one, we have Eden Garden. And at Banks now, we have planned to open very soon, probably, hopefully, in February. And for next, in Siem Reap, coming soon too. And also, we should have also at Aeon, we have our staff to stand by Aeon too. And also, Lucky, we have our staff to stand by there too. And Macro, Supermarket, and Chipmunk. We'll be going to our wholesale client. We have a lot of the big hotel, restaurant is our wholesale, like Sofitel, Raffles, Hyatt, Nagavat, Goyat, Rosewood, Soka, Metro, Topaz, and La Residence, and more. For this part is how I make employee happy. I'm here to share to you how I make employee happy. And I can learn from you too, if you can help me to increase my skill, to maybe we can to share to each other. So first, job recruitment qualification. So it support qualified employee and all university student. Right now, I recruit the young Cambodia, experience, no experience, or student, and ask them the position, what they can do first. And the second one, administrative benefit, accrue necessary benefits such as insurance for them, and allowance. Allowance, we can give them like the food allowance, GSL, food allowance, so they can have their all allowance to have to make them happy, and to make the company have the work effective. Another get leave privilege. We give them also, we have also a lot of the young Cambodia, the young employee, they still go to the university, the first year, second year, so we give them, we provide them, when they request us to have leave to take to pass the exam, or they need to do with the assignment with their teacher, we always support them to go. Number 3, skill alignment, talent management for efficient employee assignment. So this is the part of my skill too. Before starting to the HR and admin and HR manager, I was the head of quality and talent management. So I can read and can see on each employee. I can promote them. What is this employee can do? What is the next? What is the first step for them? The next step, what they can learn first, and I can promote them step by step to learn more and more. So number 4, professional development, engage employee in other skills that help them grow. So what they need after probation, we can also provide them to have the development skill, like if they need a hobby training or English training or whatever, we can provide them. Number 5, business consultancy, improvement business flow, a qualification manpower. Is I can do like a consultant to my CEO too. I can just give to my idea that is good, that is not good, and to make the company and employee happy. Appraisal. Everyone know appraisal is very important because it's the all company we need, and it's very important. We can see what is our staff appraisal, like we can have like a lot of information from our employee. Sometimes as a HR or as a head of the department, we cannot know what our employees thinking. We just know after appraisal, and then we can talk to them, and we can promote them. We can increase them. We can give them like a training if they need more training, or whatever they need, we can support. And that's why I'm so proud to work with Ostra Fine Food, because Ostra Fine Food, the most we have employee, we have the Cambodia to work only. They are young, dynamic, and even with no experience, without experience, still student, we are here, and we still support them, and we still keep going, and we support them to grow. Like with if our business grow and develop, we wanted our employee grow with us too, and that's why I'm proud to work with Ostra. Thank you.
So, last speaker, what's the most famous brand in the world? What is the most famous? It may be, actually. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is the most famous brand in the world. At least it was, or still is, I think. Okay, so our last speaker is Sinat Tauch. He's the country human resource director of Cambodia Beverage Company. Sinat serves as the country HR for Coca-Cola, company under the Bottling Investment Group and subsidiary Coca-Cola system. He brings significant experience across all areas of human resources to Coca-Cola. He has nearly 17 years of experience. You don't look that old. Not old at all. He has 17 years experience in the garment industry, oil industry, embassies, fast food moving goods, in the position of development and implement clear and specific HR strategies. I'm going to stop it at there and let you speak because this is really long. You have great experience. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Good. Hope everyone fine together. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we are facing the challenge a lot, right? Stressful. So right now, before I'm going to start what I'm sharing, I would like to share you a little bit about why I'm here. But before that, I just would like to apologize for my English is not excellent as what you expected because I'm a local. So please you accept what my it is. But I would like to share what I'm going to do and in 17 years as HR experience, right? So before this start, can I know the type of person in this room? I can three category of our people here. Who is the business managers? Can I know who are the business managers? 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7. And who is the HR professional? Right? Can I count 8, 9, 10? Almost there. And the rest. Who is the rest? Right? The business manager, head of function, right? So as a topic that we want to talking about, shaping about the talent for the future workforce, right? So this we are going to say about this that we will share you later on. But here, before I'm jumping to about the topic, I would like to share about what happens in Coca-Cola, right? Can you move? Can you move next? Okay, here is our profile company. I know that everyone known Coca-Cola long years ago, right? So, however, here is the background of Coca-Cola in Cambodia. Coca-Cola in Cambodia, that we call the name of Cambodia Beverage Company, which is one of bottler. We are in the subsidiary of Coca-Cola, right? And we have our first record in Cambodia since 1963, right? And then coming back to the purple region, we are going back, and then we coming back again in 1993 until 1996. These are the first investment. And going on, we continue to invest bigger and bigger until 2014 that we do the giant investment, kind of a great investment until today, around 100 million of our plan at PPS. Very great plan that we have so far. How about our people? We are proud of that because in Coca-Cola brand, we are almost 99% plus who are the local people who drive the business. Even we are international brand, but we drive by our local people. We have only 2 experts who drive this, only CEO and CFO. But the rest we are all local Cambodian who produce a product for you all guys drink every day in Cambodia. Okay. Okay. And then we're looking to our population, right? Our people, we are in our plan that in 3 years time to go, we would like to what we can say that to make our diversity inclusion to be 50-50. So right now we're on the right track. We are more than 30%, but we are doing more effort to reaching in 5 years time to increase 50-50. You may understand we are in the production factory. A little bit hard to recruit our female to be our driver, our operator. But this is our effort and commitment that we are working together, working with government, working school and university, how we build this to be successful. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And the rest, want to tell you about what our corporate 4 main pillar that you all guys see here, right? This here. This is what the program, beside the business, what we are going to do is we also support to make our local community grow together. So this is very, very proud of Coca-Cola that everywhere that we place, we always develop and build the local, right? So inside here also, we have our direction and roadmap that I don't read all this guy, but it's part of activity that our public affair, our internal relation, that we are working together to build the company image in another level. Okay, and beside this, we also have the clear roadmap. You might be here a little bit later on, but it's kind of what is our purpose, why all Coca-Cola staff need to work with us. We bring them the value and the purpose, and the reason why they choose Coke as a place to be learned, to be grow, and to be worked for. Right? So we have clear roadmap, right? We already there, but we want to assist to make our assistant #1 in FMCG, right? So this is our vision that we still continue to exist. Okay. Right here is our great plan. I see it's not clear, blur a little bit, but it's a great plan that we invest 100 million since 2014, right? As you know that in order to operate successful business model in plants and in distribution, beside the financial investment, technology, people are very critical, are very crucial that can help our business run sustainable in long term. So the topic that we're talking about the people, right? The skill of the people is very critical. Since our first day in the 28 years ago that we decided to invest in Cambodia. So this has become very challenging. And almost today, it's still, even we do a lot of better, but it's still many ways to look into, to develop in the future. So beside that, in order to respond our global, worldwide purpose that we want to refresh the world to make different, this become the similar, right, the familiar slogan of our purpose, right? Everyone need to refresh the world, right? And then we need to inject what the ways of working every day we call grow behavior. I can say later on or detail if we have enough time. Okay, thank you. Later on. Not yet, not yet. It's still interesting, right? Well, wait, okay. Okay, now we go to the topic, right? How do we prepare for shaping the future? I believe that you all guys coming here want to hear something. I don't expect that my presentation will be fulfill all you need, but some part of that, I would say my 17-year experience and what the best practice of Coca-Cola doing in around the world. So in Cambodia as one part of that. So now let's see what we are going to prepare to support our future talent, young talent in Cambodia, and also our business. Okay, let's go. Right, we know that I'm talking here about the HR. We are HR. We are not only talking about that we say we will develop the skill, right? We develop the skill. More people say that we are do payroll, do salary, compensation, develop the skill. But beside this, we also talking about how our well-being, how our staff safety, especially during the pandemic, during the COVID-19, right? Using this crisis. So besides skill development, pays, benefit, employee well-being and employee experience, it become more crucial and important for our people that we want to build to our, right? Besides this, we also have another one that we need to play a critical role to contribute the business strategy that we will talk later on about what we are focused in Cambodia, our business strategy, right? That you see here, we build the experience of our people, right? The light at Coke. If you are one associate employee at Coke, you should experience about how we well, talking about safety, how we reward you, how we connect you during the pandemics, how we are rewarded, how we develop, and how we give the value. So all this part we call life at Coke experience, that everyone need to experiment of what we should have in Coca-Cola. Right? Besides that, they're talking about the behavior that we call grow behavior, that sponsor our refresh the world to make different. We need to transform the way we work. That is starting from 2019. That we inject this to all areas, company in the world. So in Cambodia, one among them, that we need to explore what the best practice way of doing things. So associating Coca-Cola in Cambodia are the same practice in other Coca-Cola in the world. That we're talking about curiosity, talking about agile, talking about inclusive, and talking about empower. So this kind of behavior and attitude that everyone should be practiced every day in Coca-Cola life, right? And beside that, part of skill development, right? Here's part of skill development that we need to learn. Okay, need to go a little bit faster. I have some signal about. Okay. 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 Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Right. Key challenging. Right. I think everyone have many different challenging. Here I say from Coca-Cola what we are challenging and we look forward into to save our future talent. They are facing right now, like Cassie's presentation. We're talking about data analytical, talking about people management. So here we are the same. We need strong, solid digitalized data because right now during COVID-19, it's the experience actually in our roadmap. But COVID-19, it makes us transform ahead before our plan because we need to understand to make sure to make decision in our business. So digital data is very important that we need to develop and invest in Cambodia, right? And the rest about how do we engage? We do business successful many years in Cambodia, but during the pandemic, how do we connect? How do we inform our people? So this part of engagement, our people to understand what the practice happen around, because COVID-19 tell us not only Cambodia that we're facing around the world. So how do we connect people around the world from Coca-Cola? So this is the way that our people learn from this situation. The rest, strong talent pipeline, right? Talent pool among industry. As you know, we are in the industry plants. We not a lot of STEM program, not a technical program, a lot of people who are skilled this one. But in Cambodia, we are not yet ready enough. Right now, we see a lot of manufacturing will be open soon. A lot of investors will come in. So then the STEM, the technical, the expert that we are listed here, right? We are still the issue that we need to focus to develop. How can we do this, right? This is the challenge question that we do. How can we do this? Because Coca-Cola alone cannot survive in this whole country. We are working together with the government, working together with the university and school to develop this all technical. Right? And the rest part, be a strong digital platform to attract talent. We need to review what in our recruitment, what our employer branding image to ensure that people connect to us. We change the way our connect people outside, not only face-to-face, by virtual meeting, interview by virtual. So part right now, it become very challenging and we need to adapt quickly to what happened. Next one about need strong market data benchmarking. I think in Cambodia, maybe all of business manager here, you may be facing the data, right? Some company, we cannot have the concrete or full data from benchmarking in industry. So we need to address this to the government, to the public sector, to anyone involved. How can we combine this strong market data analysis to ensure we can make decision in the right one? I'm talking about common band, talking about service survey, talking about engagement, and talking about talent pool in the market. So all this part, we need to address stronger together and not build strong voice to the government, to the society. The last one, we need to foster, right? Foster our capability development. We did in the past, but COVID-19 has not let us wait anymore. We need to build more investment faster on digital life, on capability development that we need to work. Okay, so next. This is our initiative that we have in place even before and continue also during the COVID-19. That we continue, we always tell our people, why are you coming here? We always asking questions, why are you working for this role? So we give them the dream, the vision, right? The mission, the 5-year direction, where we are in next 5 years. So we build the ambition to connect people to achieve their goal. So we call 5-year working with purpose. Strategic will, this is very important. And the next one I'm talking about the growth behavior that I told in the past. And the rest one that very important and still very successful in Coca-Cola. Since our first day open the factory, we call on-job training. Because when we open the first factory, we do not have any experienced guy in 28 years ago. So OJT, it play very, very important and still continue. We have developed every function of functional trainer to develop skill that we need, including with the attitude, behavior that we need to develop as well, right? The rest about internship program. We build strong internship program every year. We work cooperate with the government that we call SDA, social So the social skill development fund, this part of the government fund that can help us. So everyone, if you want to have internship program, spend some budget, and government will spend some budget for us, right? Based on your proposal. So then it can help us. Last time, we spent 100% of our fund. But right now, MEF, government, they spend some part of that based on your proposal. So we are working so successful with the government. And next about BIG leadership program, we call about our global program. We continue every day to build our talent, our supervisor, our frontline. That these courses are combined from all the country in the Coca-Cola. That we need to benchmark the way our supervisor working in each country. So the way of Coca-Cola is the same. The next one is about competency building. I think this is more similar to everyone. All the function in Coca-Cola, we need to have the skill set. And not to be successful, we tell them what the level of skill set do you have. They need to practice and they need to train, right? And the connect one about the career growth commitment. This about building passion, career aspiration for the future. When you want to be, let's say I'm a supervisor, I want to be the manager for next 3 years. So kind of commitment binding between employees and the company, but it's not out the promise. Just kind of, if you want to grow in next level, what extra project or competency that you need to learn. So employee need to invest their extra time to learn about that project. So the company, we earn some project and we earn some skill from this. And we build their commitment and passion together with the employee, right? And the rest more similar, and we engage with internal engagement, strong engagement with external party, like I say, Ministry of Economic and Finance, SDS, Ministry of Oil, and other school and university to build the partnership and MOU to ensure that we have enough people on time, right? Okay. So this is our key priority, right? I reframe you again. This is what we priority. We're talking about digital, data, functional skill, key talent program that we in place, future workforce. That is really important because we know that since COVID-19, people working mobile, people working from home. Our Coca-Cola, in last 8 months, our back office are moving to working from home. So then it's not stopped right now. It still continue and it will continue in the future. We'll create a flexible working hour. We create work from home, right? And we create the virtual meeting. I think everyone has similar, but it will become existent. Even the COVID-19 finished, but we still continue because, like I see one announcement from other company in the world, like they say that working 5 days a week is maybe a silly one. They convert to working 4 days a week, and the productivity may be increased. So this one, why don't we try to this one concept? Okay. You have more? Okay, so that's all. Thank you a lot. I don't believe my presentation will give all your expectation, but part of what my learning and sharing experience in Coca-Cola. And I expect you're able to share some common question, and then we can discuss together and learn together. Thank you.
Well, let me say, Sinat, you never have to apologize for your English. That was superb. You speak better English than I do. All right. Look, I know we've kind of overrun, and it's not about me talking anymore. I want to make sure you guys are able to ask the questions that in the remaining time that we have. So I'm going to open it up immediately to the floor.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, everybody. I don't really need this, but I'll pretend I do. I'm Leanne. I'm the co-founder of a company called MindCamp, which actually specializes in emotional intelligence in the workplace. I've been here for 13 years, and one of the reasons we've set this business up is we noticed that higher education is increasing and people are coming out with learning how to use Excel and do auditing, and they've got qualifications, but they actually don't know how to work. They don't know how to engage with other people in a team. They don't know how to do effective questioning. They don't know how to problem solve, and they're not having those things that are trained, and knowing that the education system here is predominantly a rote education system, so they're not learning that in schools. So what are you doing, or how do you see, well, you've got 2 providers and 2 purchasers of output, 2 providers of output. So what do you see as the big gaps there?
as an education provider at CAMED in our Bachelor of Accounting and Finance program. Yeah, we agree. Especially when you rise up to be a supervisor, team leader, manager, all the work that you get done is going to be done through your colleagues and your team members. So you need to have the people skills and management skills. We have a compulsory psychology course and a compulsory leadership course that are taught in our first year. And we have a number of team building activities. At CAMED, all of our students, the very first day, the thing that they do is we have a team building. We send them out camping, away from their family, away from everybody, out in the wild with their fellow students in a very intense team building atmosphere. And so that's the introduction to CAMED for the student who's finished high school. That's how they're introduced. And then they have the leadership course, psychology course, and in the third year, to prepare the students for work and internships in the fourth year, we have a team leadership course, which is also compulsory. And in addition to that, we try to encourage participation in student clubs, so they get the chance of working and managing student clubs. And we also encourage sports, and we believe that sports is another way for students to have intense experiences. And something that a lot of people don't experience is losing, and how to deal with loss and how to deal with defeat. And so sports can also help that. So these are some of the things that we're doing.
Okay, Ashley?
Most of my students are predominantly still in high school, so we're focusing on getting them in the classroom. Again, talk to each other, working in groups. We have a student ambassador system where every roughly 20 students are selected to work on not just ACE projects but community projects around the country, and having a chance to see a different way of life to what they have in their own day-to-day lives. When you move to the higher levels of English, you will, if you're doing a diploma, you'll be forced to do public speaking and debating. They're teaching you, which we find is actually effective in not just improving people's language skills, but using the skills and working with both their peers and other people and presenting to people in the public workplace. The soft skills, it's difficult. When I started working many years ago, it was just accepted that you were generally bad. And all of this sort of training went on in company. It's moved out of companies now are looking to have these skills when these students come in, which is difficult because it means that the risk and the cost have been pushed back onto universities and higher ed providers and high schools rather than the companies providing that training themselves. It's a change in culture, which we're moving through. And I think personally it'll be a generational change. Groups such as Casey's are doing a fine job in actually providing that support to students. When you look at the average 7, 8, 9-year-old Khmer, they're as cheeky and as clever as any in the world. But when they move through the education system, this is not encouraged. And they're coming out the other side. So it's the argument of nature versus nurture. And we're finding that the system we currently have in place is not meeting the needs of the workplace. But I think it'll be a while. Governments are slow to move. But I think if we keep making our best efforts and raising awareness, then the demand will eventually filter through to the government and through to the schools. But in the meanwhile, it's a hard sell.
Thank you a lot for the question. I think this is very, very important and long, many years ago, people management, problem solving skill has happened, right? Happened along the way because we are working with people, right? But how Coca-Cola can help our people to settle the issue, the problem that happened. So I would like to say a little bit about the way we work and the culture we develop in Coca-Cola. We are mostly beside the functional skill, or we can say hard skill that it developed based on the skill, but the people skill, soft skill, we're talking about the growth behavior that we embark to ensure that everyone, we build a culture every day of, example, curiosities, right? We build team that they need to understand, need to do the question, dare to speak among meeting, among team discussion, among project everything. So this kind of attitude that everyone can share, right? This one among of growth behavior that we need to, is a long journey that we need to play, not 1 year, 2 year, but it's a journey. So refer to people management, right? Our ways of working we build, we call coaching and upward feedback, right? So the coaching we do, we change our way from last time. Mostly, I think every company do the mid-year review, and we maybe can talk about people a little bit. But right now in Coca-Cola, we change to flexible talking about. You can take the topic about people, talking about KPI, talking about the skill that you learn. But one-on-one session is very important. We approach people, learn about the coaching skill, right? We call everyday coaching skill. So we invite everybody to join the session of awareness for coaching skill. Everybody maybe understand or know that what is coaching. Before we are going to the coaching, everyone need to do some homework, study, case study, plan A and plan B. So this kind of build climate of research and study. Even sometimes you have problem, people issue, but you have no one can help you. But at least if we provide the coaching, they need to understand where they need to start and what the results they need to do before they go into the session of manager. And beside this, we have the mentor session, that the experienced guy, head of function or director, they are the expert one. They can be support for the junior guy to have the issue, right? So this we build this culture, right? Coaching culture, one-on-one session, flexible talking about, not only about the cycle of, let's say, mid-year review. We do not have that anymore. So we change to flexible check-in. We call it flexible check-in. Anytime you have issue, you call your manager call you, bring any topic to happen. So people issue, people problem solving, it might happen there. We want to increase the communication, engagement of our people, right? So along the way, we build this skill, and we can reduce what it will be happen beside waiting our manager, waiting the boss guy. You need to follow the guidance all the time. It will not happen again. So in Coca-Cola, we transform this cultures of working.
I think Sarah says that the whole territory is covered there, so she's okay. Please, questions. Somebody has, I know there's probably no bathroom break, or you've all probably been here a long time, so let's have one more question at least. Nobody? Okay, well, I'm going to ask a question, then I'll let you go. Oh, then I don't have to ask, from the press. Okay, from the Khmer Times, great.
Thank you. That's right.
Sinat, yeah, I'm Sinat.
So I'm going to just try and read my handwriting here. So can you please discuss professional growth development opportunities in your company, and what sort of initiatives do you wish that your employees most took on and built? Thank you.
You mentioned about the professional growth, is it? How do we build our people grow? Is it starting from day one, right? Just say the experience from day one, from sales rep that you join with Coca-Cola. So we build ambition and dream, right? We call career growth commitment, right? How do I want to be the sales or regional sales managers in a couple, 3 years? So this is the roadmap that we build. But in order to achieve this, we all need to go through our functional competency that we do assessment every year. Where you are right now, refer your skill required. Because we have the job skill required, example, sales rep. What is the skill required that we may have? And we do assessment between our individual staff, where you are. And then we provide the gap for training development. And then we're talking about in the next role, example, in next 3 years, before the managers, maybe the supervisor can be taught. So what is skill required for supervisor in the midst? So then we build this ahead. An employee need to understand. You need to go through this. And you may have some own commitment to build this, right? This project. So across the company, we designed it to binding the project. Sometimes you may be cross-functional project. to learn something new. So we build this environment that make our people commit with the vision for the future, right? And beside that, we have another growth behavior learning and development part. For example, we assess your personal attitude, behavior. We have a gap, and then we provide some critical learning need. Example, curiosity. How can you build a curiosity in our team, right? So we engage this and give the assessment to them and feedback, and then people can get from the feedback. And the plan, we want to provide 360-degree feedback from people around him. So can we build the big map to him, the self-assessment to him, where you are, how can you improve, how you work well with the partner. So in order to achieve this career growth, first one is about the commitment and own passion of employee, plus with opportunity of the company have, and we building the project, right? So in the time frame, we can see the progress of our people. Whether I'm answered your question or not.
We have 10 minutes left, so I'm going to take use of that. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, here you go.
Hi, I'm Christina, the HR director for American University of Phnom Penh. How do you look at choosing what higher ed institutions for students that you want to hire? How do you go about establishing those partnerships?
Casey?
Well, it sounds to me like this is a question for the companies.
It is.
Thank you. Okay. How do we choose the student, right? We believe that business, we always need cost return profit. But why do we need to recruit our student, right, to be on board? And how do you select it? So I think more similar to other company, first thing that we need to appoint need to choose student. First is about, we are talking about the top 10 students from university, like maybe we are a partnership MOU signed together. So then if we found anything at the university or any job application relevant, let's say more internship, and then we give that opportunity to students who are the high graded, because we always want to be smart guy coming first, right? So then this one is in our list. However, we are not only thinking about the top student, top scorers, but we also think about the internship management training. But the first thing student that we look into is about students who are a top scorer among the school. Then can be faster. And next level, it maybe can be part of our management training program, because we have the management training program as part of that, then we can develop this faster. But not only talking about top scorer, we also have not more students with apply internship, that we work 100 years on year with the school and the university, right?
For my previous experience to share with you about the student, I used to work with the PSE, ACT, and also cross-satmai. They from they are deaf, and when we have the student, they are deaf. They cannot even write correctly. They cannot speak to the people because they cannot hear. And for my previous experience, we are industry. We have hotel, restaurant, and sky bar. So they just come to ask us to have a job. So how can, even for my colleague, they just said to me, Sarah, what we can do about the people? How we can communicate with them? It just so, okay, we take care about that. I just have a class with the teacher for 6 months. So that's after that I can communicate with them. And even for the ACT, they just come to ask us about the intern.
Okay.
Just actually share on top of. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I am Lea from AAA Cambodia, life insurance. When talking about students, it's actually very close to my heart. What we actually bring in from AAA Cambodia is the program called AAA Millennials. This is actually what we put in place to have the next generation talent to grow. So in that, talking about the students, they will have different level. There's a top cream of the crops and somebody in the middle. So what we actually put in a uniqueness of the program is to give them different assignment, tests as well as putting them through the mini assessment center, meaning they go into the real business context to showcase their capability. And then when they go into the program, we actually put them into the individual learning roadmap, regular coaching and career discussions with their coach and reflections. And most of all, they have access to actually our senior leadership team to have the mentoring program. What we believe is that everybody have the talent within them. They actually need to compete with themselves every day to drive the performance and bring out the potentials inside them. So, and of course, to support that for the young talent, we also get them ready for the next generations, being a part of AAA to help Cambodian people to live healthier, longer, and better life. Yeah, just.
Okay, well, before we close off, Casey, I think you wanted to give away some oranges. Or we could make orange juice and share it. I don't know. All right, well, in the meantime, while Casey does that, first, I want to thank some people here today. I want to thank our board member, Sophia Rouse, for being here, first of all, and supporting this event, and also Sinat, bringing Sinat here, who's done a spectacular job. Thank you, Coca-Cola. Thank you, Sinat. Ostra, Fine Foods with you also. I hope to get some oysters soon. Ashley, thank you very much for representing ACE. Casey, while you're typing away, thank you again. Chris McCarthy from MangoTango. So this is a live stream event, and Chris did that? Okay. I'll let you, well, we'll get to Chris in a minute. So. And in second place? I think we have some outsiders, and then maybe they're looking through the glass.
And third is
Sarvi. Thank you, Casey. Thank you very much. Thank you. Chris McCarthy, a board member as well, has done this event, live stream Facebook for us. Anybody that needs live stream events, Chris is there for you. I hope this was informative and useful for you all. Thank you for coming here. Our next event will be next month, and it will be probably covering things regarding infectious diseases. And how to, well, not to get them, but how to prevent them and how to deal with them. But thank you very much, and thank you for being members of AmCham. Thank you.